Next up, Apple reportedly shifting, listen to this, Will, to a new keyboard design.
Well, I personally like the butterfly keys, but I can see why they did it. A lot of recalls, a lot of repairs, boatloads of money.
Ladies and gentlemen, a national treasure. Willie Doo just dropped a boatload on you. And you didn't expect it, you see? He didn't wait to be prompted. He was like, he knew coming into today, there was an agenda. Today's my day. Not your day, my day. 4th of July. Willie Doo, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause. Not the loudest round of applause, but better than none.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Kirk.
Look, Will, I don't care what you say about your keyboard specifically. They got problems, man. Our small sample size has proven it. It's around the internet. It's everywhere. You can't sell this thing the way that it was. You got to do something about it. You can't release a product with a repair program in place at the release date. That is an ugly look, sir. I mean, we talked about Samsung yesterday. They're like, they didn't even put it to market knowing the problems that we're going to. And I still think there will be problems with that device even after they launch it. I'm talking about the Galaxy Fold. But in this case, Apple keeps releasing iterations of this notebook with the keyboard they know is faulty in the sense that they have the repair program in place for. They were like, yeah, our keyboards are still messed up, but we'll replace it really quick. So like expect to go through a few. And then I bought that latest generation MacBook Air when it came out, and it was busted in like 6 days. It scared me, man. 6 days. I was like, I got to tell people it's too much now, because especially at that point, it was my second one to exhibit the issue. Even yours, you're saying you like the action of the butterfly key switch, but you had sticky keys. Don't lie to the people, Willie Doo.
I did, yeah.
Tell them how it is. Everybody,
it wasn't working for like a while, and it fixed itself, and then it kept on breaking, and it was a bad experience.
Yeah, it's out there, it's in the world, and Apple had to do something. So what are they going to do specifically? According to Ming-Chi Kuo, he's the dude, he's that guy in this space. I mean, he's all over it always. He says he's got word that the coming MacBook Air, set to come out later this year, and the MacBook Pro, available starting in 2020, will drop the so-called butterfly key switch. They're just done with it. It's too much. It's over. We tried. We kept piling it into multiple generations. This is one of those situations, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like they thought they had this next thing. Then the evidence started to come back that was like, okay, maybe some people like the action or the low profile like you, but like here's the downside. Here's the potential downside. Maybe we have to go back to something more boring, the typical scissor key switch, which is the rumor now that is what they'll go back to. A scissor switch, just like every single keyboard on planet Earth has some sort of laptop keyboard, has some sort of switch like this. So it will be, yes, more boring, not a special key switch, probably more like what existed on the MacBook Pro prior to the butterfly. So if you recall those MacBook Pros before they got super slender, you had a higher profile, but it meant more action. And of course, a key switch less susceptible to the types of issues that we've seen on the most immediate versions, most recent versions of the MacBook Pro. What are users going to say? I think users are going to be happy. Like, here's the thing. I'm telling you, low profile is nice. When you first see it, you're like, wow, how did they do it? How is there any click with something that's so slender and barely pressed? How does it? It felt tactile. Like, I have to say, of course, I've been on this ThinkPad keyboard and enjoying it, but somehow that butterfly key switch with almost no travel felt tactile. And it was, I think, a feat of engineering, but one of those circumstances in which the benefits simply did not outweigh the drawbacks, especially in the department of durability. And so what does this mean? It means you're going to have a keyboard probably more like the standalone Magic keyboard that you can purchase today if you want to get an idea of what this will be like. Or you can go tickle an old MacBook Pro, because that's essentially what these feel like as well. It's kind of like the current low-profile keyboard, but just with slightly more travel. I had a lot of experience with keyboards like this on the old MacBook Pro, so I think it'll be fine. And I think most people are willing to make this trade in exchange for greater durability, reliability, I mean, it's just a weird experience to buy. You know, I spec'd out like ridiculous MacBook Pro, like $4,000 or something. When you have a key keep breaking on you, it just spoils the whole experience. It really just takes something out of it. It takes away the premium vibe completely, regardless of anything else you might like about the product. So I'd say this is good news for most. Again, just a rumor, but it would make a lot of sense. And I will say, I think it took a bit too long, to be honest. I think they when you release a new version of your old product, which already had a pre-existing problem that was well documented, and you don't address those issues, or you partially address those issues, like, we have a new membrane and it's okay, and we're always really cagey in the press about it, instead of just saying, hey, there's a problem here, we're not going to release a new version until we've nailed it. I feel like that would have been more responsible, and it would have garnered a better reception from tech fans, enthusiasts, because this has been well documented now. And so I'm excited to see what they do. As much as I've fallen in love with the ThinkPad series, X1 Carbon, as I've mentioned previously, hey, I try all the products, so I'm curious.
Do you think the profile will be thicker, like the MacBook
I do.
design?
I think the keyboard itself is going to have to raise up a little bit. Now, they may carve into the base of the unit to have most of that travel happen, you know, deeper than it could have previously. Maybe there's a way of maintaining the slim profile on the outside of the device while having more key travel. Like, this device is thin, right? This is the X1 Carbon. It's not MacBook Air thin, but it's not far off. And the keys themselves, they just pop up a little bit more. But if you see, they recess the keyboard deck.
Right.
Yeah, I think you can actually see that in that camera lens right there. You recess the keyboard deck itself in order to get the higher key switch and the more typical key switch that you would see on a lap. So there's ways of doing it. Now, from a design perspective, does it limit you? A little bit, right? You can't have this streamlined deck like you have on your MacBook Pro right now. But again, like I said, benefits, drawbacks, this is a move they had to make, and they should have made it sooner, as far as I'm concerned.